Okay, back again. I found the patterns for the back and I just glued them in place with a bit of hot glue. I've also put some spack filler on the joint and sanded it down a bit. This is the spack filler I use. It's just a Selleys lightweight spack filler. It seems to rub down easy enough. And I just glued a little bit of blue foam on the nose. So we'll trim that down there. Again, I just used a bit of hot glue to glue this onto the nose wheel. Here we go. Let's just try that down. I bought this little sanding block a couple of weeks ago, and it's absolutely brilliant to do this. It really is good to do the rough stuff first. You can get some other pepper there too. It's good for shaping. Sure what the nose is supposed to look like, but that'll do for the time being. I'm not going to cut the hatch out yet. I'm going to keep it fairly firm, because once I cut the hatch out, then we're going to get a bit of movement. So I'm going to leave the hatch cut out until we've glued it on the wing and got everything lined up. So I think that'll do for that for the time being, until we're ready to glue onto the wing. The next section we'll do the wing section. Hi guys, here we are again with the wing section. Now, because I'm using Depron, and you probably have the same problems with foam board, it won't fit onto one piece of Depron. So what I've done, I've removed the elevators. I'm going to get this wing out of one piece. I'm a little bit light on Depron, so I'm going to try and get it out of one piece. Unfortunately, it will mean that we're going to have one side for a left or a right side is going to be this side, and the other side is going to be that side. But look, there's not that much difference between the surfaces of Depron, so I think I'm going to live with that. Otherwise it means cutting into 2 pieces of Depron. And what I'm going to do, because most of the centre line, in fact all of the centre line, will be covered with the top and bottom parts of the fuselage, I'm going to make my joint down there. So I've cut out roughly onto the lines the pattern, so I can fold it in 2. And what I'll do, I'll mark this on the plans, on the pattern. I'll mark the centre line to save having to do this, but this should give us halfway. Okay, now if I lay that on there, with the elevators on, it wouldn't be big enough to do this, so I've taken off the elevators and I'm going to put this on the centre line there, and I'm going to cut roughly just outside the line. So I've got a little bit to play with, so I don't have to be that tight. Okay, now I turn that around and over. I'm going to have a full I'm going to get the full wing like that. Now first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue these 2 halves together, and then I'll put the pattern on and we'll work around the pattern. So I'm going to use hot glue again, and to do that I'm going to try and keep it as tight as possible. And as flat as possible. So I'm going to put a strip all the way down there, like so. I'm going to fold that back. I'm going to run a bead of hot glue all the way down. Okay, and a whip her over. A little bit of scrap foam board and scrape off the excess. As I say, it's not super important that this is very, very neat, because it will be covered. The main thing is to make sure it's going to stay flat. Maybe a little bit of weight on there. Just to hold it down till the glue dries a bit. While that's drying, what I'm going to do I'm going to do the same as I did with the front section. I'm going to mark with pinholes where all the lines are and draw through. I shall cut out the slots. There are 8 of them, and the servo for the fully flying ailerons, and a couple of slots here for the aileron holes. Okay, I think that's probably dry now. Okay, again, because this is going to be covered, it's not super important that that joint is perfect. It will all be covered. Okay, I'm going to do like I did before. I'm going to make sure that my joint is right on this centre line. I'm going to lightly spray adhesive. Very light spray. Play the game. Okay. This one there. Okay, so we've got very little waste there. What waste we've got we can use for formers and other bits and pieces, and in fact we can get our elevators and some of the larger pieces out, but for now we'll work on the one. I like wherever possible to use a straight edge. For cutting. Especially on the longer ones. And I also like, wherever possible, to have the steel ruler on the pattern itself rather than on the waist. Then if I slip with a knife as I'm coming down, I'm slipping onto the waist and it won't matter. Believe me, I've done it many times where I've actually had the ruler that way and cut that way and slipped into the pattern. And when I did it, I didn't swear, not much.